I think it started off with a documentary approach, trying to collect either the real sounds or the closest approximations to the real sounds, what these astronauts would be hearing. And then the second part of that equation, I think, would be actually kind of augmenting those sounds to create not just a documentary reality, but an emotional, immersive reality for the audience.
5.
What are the chances you're not coming back?
4.
Those kids, they don't have a father anymore.
3.
So you're gonna sit the boys down?
2.
And you're gonna prepare them for the fact you might not ever come home.
1.
Do you think you're coming back?
You know, for us, we've read the script and wanted to represent as best as we could the authenticity of it. And so I was fortunate enough to talk to some of the former astronauts. One of them is Jim Lovell, who was part of the Gemini and Apollo mission. And so I sent him some questions and he wrote back really nicely. And, you know, some of the biggest takeaways are how much of a constant roar the launch is and how when you're suited up in the spacesuit, you know, how little outside sounds you hear. It's mostly, you know, hearing his breathing and the helmet air hiss from his life support system.
What was it like working with Ryan Gosling? Was he a trooper?
I got to record him in the ADR stage, and he is really good at it. And I think the most fun challenge was the X-15 sequence at the beginning of the film, because he has to breathe and have these subtle efforts throughout the whole thing, and it's a long sequence. And he would do a whole pass, and we kept worrying that he was going to pass out, but he didn't.
For ventilate.
Yeah, he was like, okay, I'll do it again. I'm like, oh. Okay.
Of all the many talents Gosling is famous for, is, you know, sustained breathing for a 5-minute flying sequence is, I'd say, under-heralded.
So this first sequence that we're going to play is leading up to the Gemini launch. And for this scenario, the walk-up, it's kind of really in the mindset of Neil Armstrong. And so, you know, we try to recreate it with some natural sounds from the scene, but building up a rhythm is almost like a sense of stress and anticipation.
When Damien and Tom were editing the film, they actually left space for sound, and especially the launches, and that hardly ever happens, where it's like, okay, you guys, the story is now going to be carried by the sound for this part of the scene.
So this is, say, the umbilical cord of the actual recordings. And then some of the Foley sweeteners. So together, so these are just little subtle touches of something from the real things that we could add on sound-wise to the movie. So some of those sounds have some animal sounds that burst out of explosions or flames and stuff. So something like this. Our team, we kind of use a bunch of different stuff, but for this one it's lions and just pitched up and manipulated elks. Or sometimes, you know, there may be some snake hiss, and sometimes we also add some turbine that's forever cycling up. mean, we try to kind of blend it with something that could happen. So like the sounds of the turbine or the explosions.
And it was pretty exciting. I did feel a little bit like a pioneer, and I've been doing this for a really long time too. And so over like about 30 years, and I've seen how things have changed. And I really felt like a pioneer 30 years ago when I'd be on a dub stage and there'd be no other women around. Things have changed. Now we have Ai-Ling actually sitting at the mixing board, mixing sound effects, which is still pretty rare for women to be doing that.